What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Reviewing. For this video, I will be reviewing episode 211 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. So, this episode was pretty much Team Inochikacho following around Kashin Koji, and also Kakashi started to help them because he also was interested in following around the intruder because Kashin Koji, he had basically broken into a he broken into the archive building, and he stole some data on he basically stole some data about some shinobi that were in the village. However, he only stole data about the newer shinobi in the village, not the shinobi that were in the village before the fourth grade ninja war, because that data wasn't available at that place where he got the data from. And that data wasn't available digitally because the digital data was basically Dinky's dad, basically Dinky's family company, basically helped give them that digital data. They basically digitalized the data, but they only did it for the newer shinobi. So basically, Kashin Koji had to go to a different archive building or a different building to get information about shinobi before the fourth grade ninja war. And everything, the way that they laid that out and stuff, that all made sense and actually added to the story from the manga. So this is another episode that expanded upon the story from the manga. Even though most of this episode was anime original content, it definitely expanded upon the story from the manga and added a lot of more detail and depth to the story from the manga, and also foreshadowed and basically teased some future events from the manga, which is very, very great. But also at the end of this episode, we did get some basically we got some dialogue that was actually from the manga, which was the conversation between Amado and Kashin Koji. However, they did change it up slightly. But anyways, we got that conversation, but they did slightly change it. But yeah, this episode did a good job at doing that, at, like I said, teasing and foreshadowing things that will be happening in the manga and future reveals from the manga. Because at the end of the episode, Shukadai basically figured out he came up with a theory that he thought that Kashin Koji, since he was looking for, basically data on past shinobi, he thought Kashin Koji may be a former shinobi of the Hidden Leaf Village, and that could be the reason why the Yamanaka clan, couldn't sense it. The sensory unit system couldn't sense him because he was a former shinobi in the village, or he was, his chakra was already registered in the village. And yeah, Shukadai came up with that theory, and I'm just gonna, he was right. I mean, that's a correct thing. I mean, the anime already foreshadowed it, so I mean, it's pretty obvious. But so yeah, I like how they did all that. That was some great stuff. Also, Chocho was pretty great in this episode. I know she get a lot of hate, but she's actually a very well developed character. If you go back and watch her Chocho, the Chocho arc after the tuning exams, it was actually an arc that did a great job at developing her character. But yeah, in this episode, they basically found where Kashin Koji was hiding out due to her intuition, and basically she was like a fan of a detective series or detective like movie series or whatever, or TV show, and she learned a lot of useful skills from that. But also her intuition was really, really good, and that's why they were able to find that hideout. So overall, some great stuff with this episode. But Kashin Koji, at the end, basically when he was getting ready to leave the village, he said that he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't necessarily after that data. Like, he thought to himself, that's not what he was necessarily after, because he already got some data, and based on a preview, that data that he got was actually useful enough. But it seems like he wanted to test out the abilities of Konoha, and that's why he said he was feeling sentimental, because you can actually tell that it seems like he actually cares about Konoha, but he wanted to test out, basically see how things was going in the village and see if their shinobi could basically, figure out what he was doing. So I think he was more so just trying to test Konoha in this episode. And then obviously at the end of the episode, it was revealed that him and Amado are the actual traitors, and they are the ones who betrayed Korra. So they're gonna, they're working together to try to take out Jigen, and that was revealed in the preview. But it's a couple things that in this episode that were kind of weird to me. Well, actually, firstly, The whole also let me address the change from the dialogue that I mentioned earlier. So at the end of the episode, they did slightly change some dialogue, and I was talking about this in my in previous reviews where I was like, yeah, it seemed like more time has passed in the anime compared to the manga because the anime it's been multiple days that have passed for sure since Jigen fought Naruto and Sasuke. However, yeah, so that's the case in the anime, but in the manga, it seemed like barely any time had passed at all, but between basically the time that Jigen fought Naruto and Sasuke and the time that he fought Kashin Koji. Basically, in the manga, it seemed like right after Naruto and Sasuke came back to the village, or well, actually, should I say, right after the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen fight in the manga, it seemed like Kashin Koji had went right to the Korra hideout immediately after the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen fight. It seemed like he had, already he basically already knew that Jigen was weakened, and he automatically went to the hideout to fight Jigen. Now, of course, we did get the Boro fight in the manga as well, but right after the Boro fight, we got the Kashin Koji versus Jigen fight. So, I mean, well, we got Amado defecting to the village first. That took a couple of chapters. So basically, right after the Naruto Sasuke versus Jigen fight, we got the Boro fight, and then we got Amado defecting to the village, and then we got the Kashin Koji versus Jigen fight. Now, all of those events seem like they took place within like a day at most. It didn't seem like that took like multiple days to happen. And in the anime, it seemed like it's been a whole week that we've been getting. It basically seemed like a whole week has passed. I mean, we know for sure it's been at least a couple of days that have passed since the Boro fight because it was literally stated that a couple of days had passed. Basically, it was stated a couple episodes ago, back when Kawaki was back in that episode when Kawaki was bonding with Himawari. It was basically confirmed that a couple of days had passed because one day it was the morning time and Boruto went to train with Mitsuki, and then the next day Boruto was like, "Hey Kawaki, what are you doing up so early again?" So yeah, so that's the case with that. And in this episode, it was confirmed that more time passed in the anime. It was basically confirmed that Jigen was actually at a higher percentage. And I mentioned that in one of my previous reviews. I mentioned I mentioned the possibility that they may have Jigen at a higher percentage. Now, what this means is this is going to increase Kashin Koji's feats. Like that's going to make so basically Kashin Koji is going to be stronger in the anime since he's fighting a stronger Jigen. In the manga, Jigen was at 5%. He was only 5% charged up, from what I remember. Now in the anime, they changed that to Jigen being 10% charged up. Now that basically it seemingly confirms that more time passed in anime. But I mean, I guess they did that because they wanted to fill up more. They wanted to basically add more detail and depth to the story from the manga by giving us these anime original episodes, which I have been enjoying the anime original episodes that they've been giving us. So I don't mind that they made that change. However, it is going to make Kashin Koji seem a lot stronger in the anime in comparison to the manga. Now, one thing that is kind of weird though is the fact that Kashin Koji he needed basically so after he was testing out the village and like basically after he had that whole that interaction with the hidden leaf shinobi especially Kakashi and Team Industry Control. After he had that interaction with them, he thought to himself he thought it's weird that Jigen haven't tried to come get Kawaki back. That must mean and then obviously so he was thinking that must mean that Jigen is weakened from his battle against Naruto and Sasuke. Now the weird thing is, now I mean in the comment section you guys can remind me, but I don't remember in the manga. I don't remember him needing to. I don't remember him actually thinking that. I just remember him already knowing because we already know for sure that he knew that Naruto and Sasuke fought Jigen. We already know that. But in the anime, we actually seen he actually had a toad. So that's a difference that a thing that the anime added in there. They actually had him have a toad to watch the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen fight. So in the anime, he should have been even more aware of the fact that Jigen had, basically fought Naruto and Sasuke and that Jigen was low on chakra and he needed to recharge. So he should have been even more aware of that fact in the anime. However, it seems like he was drastically less aware of that fact in the anime because he just, basically just realized that Jigen was weakened after multiple days had passed, and he was thinking like, why hasn't Jigen come to retrieve Kawaki yet? So that whole thing is really weird to me because in the manga, I don't remember him needing to. I don't remember him, coming to the conclusion that Jigen was charging up due to the fact that Jigen hadn't come to get Kawaki yet. I'm pretty sure he already knew that Jigen was weakened because he knew that Naruto and Sasuke came back to the village. So obviously he knew that they had, fought Jigen because he seen that Jigen took Naruto into the other dimension. So obviously they had a fight there. But and then Naruto came back. So I really don't get why they did things like that. I mean, well, I don't know. I guess I'll wait and see what happens in the next episode and in the next couple episodes and see how they explain it. But yeah, that is a weird change that they made. Kashin Koji just now decide to go fight Jigen after multiple days have passed. That basically gives Jigen more time to charge up and get him and more time to get to a higher percentage. Which, like I already said, in the anime he was at a higher percentage because he's at 10% in comparison to the manga where he's at 5%. So yeah, so overall, I'm pretty sure that's all my thoughts on the episode. Overall, like I said, it did a great job at adding more detail and depth and further foreshadowing stuff that has basically stuff that will happen in the manga. So yeah, I mean, stuff that will happen in the anime when they adapt the next couple of chapters. So yeah, overall, some great foreshadowing, great detail and depth that the anime added to the story that adapted from the manga, and overall, it was a pretty good episode. Now, like I said, I am kind of I think it's kind of weird. Like I already said, I think it's kind of weird that they just now haven't Kashin Koji come to the realization that Jigen was running low on chakra. But I will take. I mean, well, that Jigen was recharging, but I'm gonna take a wait and see approach. I'm gonna see how they, if they do explain this in the future, that'll be great. If they don't explain it, then it'll just be, I'll just consider it to be a pretty weird flaw that the anime has. But for now, I'm not gonna have it hinder the episode rating because I'm gonna wait and see how they explain it. If they do explain it, now if they don't explain it, then that'll be a flaw. But overall, as far as the story for this episode go, 10 out of 10 in terms of story. The art was a 10 out of 10, and the animation was a 10 out of 10. This was another 10 out of 10 episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Another great episode of Boruto. And with that being said, with the next episode, we are going to get into the manga content. We did get a little bit of manga content in this episode, but we're going to get into, Amado defecting to the village in the next episode. So, yeah, we're getting back to the manga stuff. And from what I heard in episode 214, that's going to be an episode where we get the Kashin Koji versus Jigen fight, and I cannot wait for that episode. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like the video, click that like button. And also, if you click that notification bell to be notified of all of my future videos. And drop me a comment, let me know what you thought of the video, and share the video all over the internet. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.